Okay, so I've taken flight. I'm going to try and steady out, take some steady level flighting. I'm going to press P to pause, and then I'm going to go Shift 4, or Shift 9, sorry. Look inside, I look at all three dials, and then I mark down what I have to write for my sheets. Then I hit Shift 4 and go and readjust. That's at level flight. I repeat to unpause, and then I start pointing the nose down for 3 seconds. P to pause, Control 9, I take these three dials, Shift 4 again, readjust. P to unpause, start gaining altitude then. Adjust the camera. So I've ascended a good bit. P to pause, Shift 9, take these three dials, that's it. This week, we started off by setting our aircraft weight to 298. We did this by going aircraft, weight and fuel, and adjusting this to 298. We did this for 600 and 900 pounds each. For each weight, we took off 3 times, making sure to note the true airspeed and the takeoff distance. Thus, we can get the average of each weight. We repeated this each time for 298, 600 pounds, and 900 pounds. Then, we went over here to settings, or not settings, special. We go to special, set environment properties, and we set this to this number here to replicate the moon's gravity. Once that was done, making sure that our aircraft was at 900 pounds, we then try and take off. So I'm going to Control 4, readjust. I'm going to speed up. Get off my brakes. Try and fly this now. Use at the hill. Once the aircraft was off the floor, I then go to settings, data input, and go to data C. It's going all the way over. And once these values down here are at 0, 0, 0 each, we can then take our distance, which is 57.89 meters. That's how long it took for the aircraft. That's how far the aircraft drove before it took off. And then if we go Control 9, we can then see the airspeed of the aircraft. This week, for lesson 3, we started off by taking off and letting the plane slowly climb for 3 seconds. Once it had finished climbing, we pressed P to pause, and then we took the airspeed of the aircraft. Once we had taken the airspeed, we then looked at these arrows here, and as you could see that the arrows are increasing. Once we had done that, we unpaused it, and we proceeded to increase the climb of the airplane. We kept on increasing the climb until we noticed that the arrows began to drop down. See that the arrows are slowly starting to get smaller. It's because the plane is stalling. Once we've done this, we then level off and try and regain control of the aircraft around 80 knots. We do this 4 or 5 times until we have a rough understanding of how to do it multiple times. This week, we started off by flying the plane for 3 seconds at a steady altitude with the wheels lowered. We then took the airspeed of the aircraft and the drag of the aircraft. Then repeated this with the wheels up. This showed us that the aircraft will go faster with the wheels brought up. This is because the wheels will increase the drag of the aircraft. Secondly, we then decided to lower the flaps on the plane, these bits here, and fly the plane for 3 seconds. We then noted that the true airspeed, the lift of the wing, and the drag of the wing. Repeated this 3 times with the flaps down, and then we repeated it 3 times with the flaps up, taking the wing lift and the wing drag each time. We then got the average airspeed, the average wing lift, and the average drag of wing 1 for both times. We then answered the series of questions.
You're overpowered.
So this week, we decided to try and land a plane on an aircraft carrier.
You're overpowered.
I've lowered my flaps to try and increase drag. I'm slowly decreasing throttle. I'm currently very overpowered. So I'll try to bring it down to a nice glide so I can just glide my way onto the aircraft carrier. Fun little fact for you, when jets land on an aircraft carrier, they are meant to go full throttle in case they've missed the wire. That way they can take off again.
Cut.
Okay, we're not doing too bad.
Wave
Might be a
off.
bit low. Should I bring it down slowly without dive on it? I don't
Wave
want to
off.
like cut too soon either because it'll just go into the water. Nice slow approach.
Wave off.
Maybe put a bit of
Wave
throttle on
off.
it. Drop altitude a
Wave
bit.
off. Wave off. Wave off. Cut.
And we've done it. Thank you. This week, for lesson 6, we decided to change our aircraft weight, our center of gravity, to minus 16.4. And then after we've done that, we tried to get stable flight. Once we had stable flight for 3 seconds, we knew we had stable flight once this was reading here. Once we had stable flight for 3 seconds, we took this recording. We did this 3 times while also changing our center of gravity 22.1. So this is lesson 7, and I'm showcasing the aspect ratio. And the aspect ratio refers to the weight ratio of the plane. This is only a test plane. We'll probably get to the proper one that we were doing in class that day. But we're doing it for different wingspans. So we're doing it for wingspan of 50 for each 30, 20, and 10. And we're finding the average takeoff distance. So we're keeping this plane in a straight line, and until the weight goes to 0, 0, we get the distance. So this distance was 3,800, but it's only the test, so it won't be for a proper plane. This week, we started off by changing the wingspan of the aircraft. We changed one aircraft to 30 foot, one aircraft to 15 foot, and one aircraft to 60 foot. Unfortunately, I do not have the current aircraft models on my laptop, so I'm recording it with the basic Cessna, but that's the basic model. What I found was that the 15-foot aircraft would not take off, unlike this plane here, and I found that the 60-foot aircraft would take off very quickly, although the 15-foot aircraft would be a lot faster than the other aircrafts. We simply let the airplane drive until it took off. We did not pull back on the stick or anything, and once the plane had taken off, we simply went to special data input and output, data C, and then we used this to see where the gear, keep scrolling, we went all the way along here until the gears had taken off, until the gear was 0, 0, 0 on all points. And then once we had done that, that gave us the distance of 3,387. We recorded this for each individual aircraft 3 times. So we did it 3 times for the 15-foot aircraft, the 30-foot aircraft, and the 60-foot aircraft. This week, for lesson 9, we decided to change the horsepower of 3 aircrafts. We started by changing the horsepower to 150, then 300, and then 600. For the 150 horsepower, we made sure that the total weight was 2,500. For the 300 horsepower, we made sure that the total weight was 5,000. And for the 600 horsepower, we made sure that the total weight was 10,000. For each weight, we made sure to fly this is straight, try and get a nice smooth balance on it. Making sure our vertical speed is at 0, that way we're at cruising. Once our vertical speed was at 0, we made sure to take our V-true, our true airspeed, and we repeated this 3 times for each horsepower. So we repeated this 3 times for the 150, for the 300, and the 600 horsepower.